Good morning, good morning. It's Tonya, and welcome back to Nurses Speak. You know what channel this is. So, it's been a while, but I'm back with another video while I'm on my walk. The weather's kind of warming up a little bit, so I'm out here getting my steps in, and I just heard like a flock of geese flying overhead, so it was really noisy. So I just waited a moment before starting my video. But they may be back. So if you hear a little background noise, just know that it's the wonderful sounds of nature. So as you can see, trees are still bare, you know. The weather's starting to warm up, so we'll see how things go this week. But along with the spring comes lots of rain, you know. And so we're gearing up for that too. Hopefully not to experience any flooding, but you know, get the ground nice and saturated, ready for that grass to start sprouting again and trees and flowers to begin budding. So I'm looking forward to it. It's an exciting time of year to see when spring begins again. And just know that, you know, the cycles that we go through in life, good morning, the cycles that we go through in life are natural, right? It's part of growth, it's part of evolution, it's part of learning how to relax and let go of things when it's time to let go and embrace the new. So nature can teach us a lot about what we as humans should be doing, right? Instead of making it difficult for ourselves and putting ourselves through all kinds of torture and anguish and tribulation because we are having it difficult with a particular circumstance. And for each of you who might be dealing with something or have dealt with something, you know what that is. I don't need to go to in detail because YouTube is all full of all kinds of people talking about their trials and tribulations and difficulties and toxicities and being toxic and detoxing. And hey, you know what? Sometimes all you need to do is go sit down by a tree and get some sun and just be quiet and be still and let things fall away. Let the energy of the earth absorb what you can no longer carry or might be in your best interest to lay down. So anyway, I don't know why I went there, but I guess that was for someone. Perhaps it's for me. Yeah, so getting on to a nursing topic. If any of you have been following that nationwide case that the Department of Justice has been working on, Operation Nightingale, and that's where, you know, this school was shut down in Florida because they were allowing people to pay, or maybe advertising, enticing, or whatever you want to call the scheme, to have people pay for their nursing credentials so they can go and take the NCLEX exam. And as you know, there are some people who legitimately claim that they went through the courses and they got the training, but there's a good number of them that did not and couldn't prove it. A small number say they do have proof. And there's articles about that on the internet. So just go, if you're really, really interested in the details and where they are now, look up this Operation Nightingale Go on the Department of Justice website. You'll see information about it. When I get to post this description, I can put some links in there. But let's see. So anyway, the latest part of that I saw was that there were a small group of nurses in New York that claimed that they did do the program legitimately. They did have documentation to prove that they had the education and the training. They passed their NCLEX exam, and they're refusing to surrender their license to the state because New York State has asked a number of nurses. It might have been about 30 something. I'm not even sure. I don't want to misquote, so that's why I said refer to the articles. So a number of them were working in New York State and were asked to surrender their licenses to the state pending investigation, which, in my opinion, is a fair thing to do. I mean, they didn't outright send agents to their facilities and handcuff them and drag them out. You know what I mean? They allowed them the dignity of saying, okay, we're not quite clear on what's going on here, but we'll give you the opportunity to, put yourself on pause until we can get the facts straight and find out who is actually clear to work and maintain their license and who is not. I believe that's fair because at the end of the day, we all know the state is working to protect the public, right? So any license that they grant you has to be earned, and it has to be maintained based on their regulations and stipulations, right? However, the practice that you engage in has to meet the requirements that are within your scope of practice as well. But if they can determine that you did not meet the requirements and it was obtained fraudulently, not only can they revoke the license, they can compound that with other charges, some of which may be criminal, okay? Not to mention that any care you provide, any service you provide, that the facility you work for was funded by Medicare or Medicaid, you could wind up on the, excluded provider list, and that could impact that facility as well. So there's a huge trickle-down effect to this. It's not just about the individual. You know, we're talking about public safety concerns. We're talking about, fiscal considerations. So far, they have a lawyer, this group, that doesn't want to surrender their license because they're still working. Facilities have them on their payroll. And in my opinion, again, I'm not a lawyer, but that's a huge risk, I would say. They didn't disclose where these quote unquote nurses are working, but somewhere in the state of New York, they're on the payroll. Again, according to this article. So we'll see. But I might just follow that because it's going to be very interesting if just because these individuals pass the exam, if they don't have, proof beyond a shadow of a doubt with documentation and receipts to back it up, that they actually did the work and earned the right to sit for the NCLEX, then that's going to be very interesting if they remain employed. I can't imagine the state allowing them to keep their licenses if they can't prove their training credentials or their education credentials through transcripts. And who knows if those transcripts were even fake. I think that was basically one of the issues underlying the entire scheme, that all the documentation was fake. But again, If they can find facilities where they did their practicals and, these other facilities management is willing to verify and validate the attendance of these nurses when they were students, that they actually did come there and do work under supervision of a registered nurse, then the story could have a different outcome for a few, right? So we'll have to wait and see what this entire investigation unfolds. So if I get any more information on that, I'll update you. And if any of you have more recent information, feel free to put it in the chat, make a comment, let me know what your thoughts are. Because I don't want to come across like sounding like a conspiracy theorist or, one of those people who take things to the extreme. But imagine if nurses were allowed to just study, not do anything hands-on, not have, any clinical rotations or anything like that. Just study and take the test and pass the test and show up and get a license and show up to work somewhere. I'm like, okay. I don't know how that would play out in the real world, in these hospitals and clinics. But then again, who knows? There's a lot of nurses that talk about not even going into hospital nursing or bedside nursing. They want to do all kinds of other things, And basically, it's open season. Anybody with a healthcare license can pretty much dip into anything these days. So it could get very interesting, If any of you know anybody that's actually worked without any experience or worked without any training or, went through a nursing school where they did not do any clinical rotations or have any hands-on patient care, I'm curious to know where that is, because it would be interesting to look at how that actually works, and are they working at places that will give them opportunities to receive training under supervision to make sure that their practice is safe? Those are questions. Quite frankly, it would be a great concept to even have experienced nurses do refresher courses at least maybe every few years, because things are changing so rapidly that, to keep in touch or to keep up to date with technologies, with medications, with treatments, various areas of research and things like that. Aside from enrolling in a university to obtain another degree, which again is an astronomical cost associated with that, but basically just to, stay fresh on things. I did a video before about getting certifications and staying current with the area that you're practicing in. And I feel that's really an important thing for nurses to continue to do, because you can't rely on what you're going to learn in the facility where you work or from your management or coworkers. You have to do your own independent learning. And sometimes as nurses, we find ourselves in a position where we have to bring that information back to where we work and basically open up the conversation around things that would indicate a need to improve what they're doing or make policy changes or, even develop new programs. And this is where the innovation comes in, because many, many nurses are extremely skilled at coming up with new ideas and new concepts and experimentation and things of that nature that could really help an organization improve its patients' outcomes, become more, financially prudent in some of the things that they do that might even cost less. Or if there's any expense related, it could be, one that would be reasonable to consider because it's not that far-fetched. Nurses work on the front lines. They see what's going on. They see what's happening. They know what needs to get done. And you don't need to call in a 6 or 7 figure consultant agency to tell your staff the things they need to do or what problems are in their day-to-day functions. I mean, I don't know. It's just time to get with the program and use the resources that are already right there in these places. And I have to say, in my experience in working in different environments, that was one of the things that I really enjoyed the most, was those organizations that would bring nurses to the table, nurses at all levels of work in an organization, and incorporate them. I'm assuming it's called what they term it now, shared governance. Okay, that's basically the industrial term for it, right? Shared governance. Okay. But having said that, after the round table disperses, then we go back to see, well, who really implements the things, right? Because a lot of times there's talk, but no implementation. And so great ideas get recorded and put into a presentation, and everybody applauds and everyone gets their accolades, but a lot of times we don't see the end results of that. In some cases we do, I have to admit. There's been a lot of progress in that area, but nurses can't afford to become complacent in this area because things are changing rapidly. And as you know, we live in a litigious times where people are out for large sums of money for any possible wrongs, errors, omissions, etc., that impact their lives. And so we have to be extremely cautious in what we do and how we do it. So, just a little food for thought on today around a couple of issues. And so I think I'll end right now. I was recently, actually before I end, let me just say this. I might have been listening to another YouTube, something about giving tips on YouTube. And the speaker was saying that longer videos can kind of improve your algorithms, or I guess allow more viewing hours if people stay engaged with the longer video. Because if you've noticed, a lot of YouTube creators have gone from doing shorter videos, like under 30 minutes, to videos that are over 90 minutes, sometimes over 2-3 hours. And I'm like, whoa. And sometimes they're just talking by themselves to their viewers or listeners. And sometimes they have a guest on, or two, and they go back and forth with the conversation about different things. There's a Q&A with the people viewing. These longer videos tend to be around lives. So, you have the audience engagement as well. They pause for comments. They give a lot of shout outs, all kinds of things to fill the time. And I thought about that. I was like, I never thought about going on and doing a video for 90 minutes or 2 hours. Anyway, but I have done a video for an hour, approximately. And I feel like that's enough time for people to engage and determine if the content is of any value to them or not, or of interest to them. You know, everybody has their own preference, which is fine. Currently, I'm not selling anything, so you're not going to find anything at the end of my video saying, go buy this or go get that or enroll in this or that, you know. I mean, yet, right? There's always a possibility I'll come up with something for you. And that's more of a possibility than not, by the way. Hint, hint, okay? But anyway, yeah, so we'll see. I'll just kind of go with the flow and follow my intuition about what to say, how long to speak, and when to be silent. And my being silent doesn't mean that I've abandoned you all, my loyal and faithful subscribers. I have such a beautiful community, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you. And I'm okay with our group being small. It's fine for me, you know. But I would like to hear from you. I would like for you to comment, okay? So you might want to give me likes, but I want to give you likes too. I want to give you likes back. I want to say, hey, I like that comment, or I like that idea. I'm going to follow up and do a video on that. Or maybe we can get together and maybe I will do a live, you know. And of course I will advertise if I'm going to do any live so that the most of you can join if you're available. And if any of you are nurses and you work evening shift or night shift, let me know that too. Because if you want me to do a 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. live, I got you. Because I used to work nights too, so I know what that's all about. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody, you know, if you're not taking a nap during your break, that is, you know. I used to take my naps when I worked at night. I didn't play. It was very hard for me to stay awake all night without using my break time for a nap. So, but if you're one of those people that got that high energy, that high nocturnal energy, and you want to live at night, let me know in the comments. I got you. I got something for you. You can talk about anything you want. How's that? I'll just open it up for a Q&A. I'll just be quiet and let you ask your questions and, you know, revolve around that. Or we could talk about something more significant, like, are there any health implications for people who work at night? Well, how do you manage your day? Do you actually sleep during the day? I know I found it very difficult to sleep during the day because I used the day to do all kinds of things and didn't go to sleep until maybe, like, I don't know, 5, maybe 6 in the evening after my kids had dinner. And then I would try to sleep until it was time to get up and go to work. So, you know, anyway, those days are done, thank God. I don't have to do that stuff anymore. So these are new times. But we live and we learn, right, family? So until next time, remember to like, subscribe, and share. Put your comments in the comment area, okay? Don't have me out here talking to myself. I want to hear from you too. So until next time, be well, be at peace, and let go of what no longer serves you. Bye now.